Anyone can have a good idea. But the difference between those who have an idea and those who have a successful company is in the execution. These women figured out how they could transform a concept into a thriving company in New York City. And it all started with her big idea. Bronx-born Laura Geller had no idea that she would become a household name when her friend convinced her to go to beauty school as a teenager. Her humble beginnings as a personal makeup artist led to a lifelong devotion to create makeup for everyday women. Her personal line of makeup is now one of the most successful and longest-running brands on the shopping network QVC.
I am Laura Geller, and I am the founder of Laura Geller New York. Laura Geller New York is a brand of beautiful cosmetics so that every woman has their natural opportunity to look beautiful and empowered. We're known for two different things. We're known for our baked cosmetics, but also a line of primers, the Spackle franchise. I was one of the first in the marketplace to bring under makeup primer to life.
I just want to show you the shades that are on trend that we're looking at.
What if we had them make these two together? Because that softens a little bit, right? I would have never dreamed when I was 18 years old that I was going to be here today. I was about to go off to college, and I ran into a classmate who said to me, Laura, you love makeup. Why don't you come to beauty school with me? And then I went to meet the owner of the beauty school, and the owner of the beauty school said to me, you know, you have something very unique. You have a good gift of gab, and that's really important in this business. Well, I took the course, I became cosmetology licensed, and I never looked back. What I found was there was a marketplace for me to start a makeup studio where women came and had private sessions, not on a main floor in a cosmetic department store, so they can let their hair down and really talk about what they felt, what they wanted from their life. And I think what set me apart was that they felt very safe with me. I took an apartment in Hell's Kitchen, built a makeup counter with lights, and I built the studio, and all my clients were like, well, where's the makeup to buy? I love how I look. Can you sell me the makeup? And then I realized I have to develop my own line of cosmetics. I knew that this was my calling. In 1997, I was at a holiday function, and I ran into, at that time, the health and beauty buyer for QVC. She said, I've heard about you in the press. I'd love to come talk to you. Tell me what you would do if I put you on QVC. So I said, oh, I'll put together a contour and highlight complexion. She bought 750 of them. I had to fund it myself. And financially, that's a big risk for me.
Laura Geller is here, our favorite makeup lady.
She put me on QVC with no media training. I get there, and they go, go. And I had this major anxiety attack. Put the contour here, you put the highlight here, you put the highlight here. They were like, sold out. I was like, what? 30 seconds later, this is completely dry. I remember leaving QVC in a fog going, what just happened? And knowing that things were gonna change.
Give me a hug.
I love you
You're
too,
the best.
honey.
Come back and work with me again soon.
Always.
Okay.
Whenever you want me, I'll be here.
Okay.
Now I had the attention of these big retailers that were like, yeah, we want your products. What would it be like to see Laura Geller New York at a counter in an iconic department store? When I walked into Macy's for the first time, seeing my products at the counter, I had a moment where I really lost it. I was hysterically crying, completely lost it. New York City fuels me every single day. Sometimes I think, oh, what am I doing in this crazy city? And then I go, where else could I be? I don't know that you can get inspired working anywhere else. Maybe it's because New York City allows anybody to have their dream if they want to work hard for it. Anybody who wants something should be thinking about doing their homework and making sure that they are different from the rest. And what do you have to offer that's uniquely different? I like it almost as a highlight.
We've been calling it a lighter because we can't decide if it's a blush or a highlighter.
We can invent a whole new category. That's a whole new category. I feel very sensitive about women's lives. It's never about what are we going to sell this for and how much are we going to make and how many are we going to sell. It's more about, is she going to love it? And is she going to go, wow, that's my mission with Laura Geller Beauty. People know that there's heart behind this product.
Pastry chef Fanny Gerson spent months in her Brooklyn kitchen trying to make the perfect donut. The fluffy pastries have since become a sweet success, and her donuts are now sold in locations all over the city.
My name is Fanny Gerson. I'm the chef founder of Dough Donuts. We make gourmet handmade donuts with really good ingredients. We have anywhere between 12 and 16 flavors of donuts at a time. Some of the flavors we always have, like the cinnamon sugar, the passion fruit with cocoa nibs, the hibiscus, mocha almond crunch, and then we have others that we do seasonally. This is the hibiscus glaze, and this is one of the most popular flavors, my favorites. And when we opened the store, this was there from day one. I was born and raised in Mexico City. I left Mexico after graduating from culinary school there to attend the Culinary Institute of America, upstate New York, and study for 2 more years. So I went to Spain, to San Sebastian, to do my externship there. And then I went back to Mexico for a few months, but literally I came back to New York. I worked at 11 Madison Park. I worked at Rosa Mexicano, at La Côte Basque. And then after a while, I got a bit burned out of the restaurant industry. My now partner, basically, he had a space, he had a little storefront that he wanted to use up. And he said, you want to help me open a donut shop? I said, sure. It sounded fun.
Do you have a favorite you recommend?
I love the tart flavors, like I love the passion fruit. So we started Dough December 2010 in Bed-Stuy, which is a neighborhood that it's changed a lot in the last few years, but I think it still has a lot of soul and a lot of flavor. I spent many months developing the recipe of the donut itself. The focus in the beginning was just, my partner said, just don't worry about anything else, just worry about the dough. And once we felt I had it, we opened within like 2 to 3 weeks after. We did a few glazes and we literally just opened the door. Word started getting around, and then it was just 3 of us making the donuts. We were doing it out of this tiny fryer, like one of those French fryers. And then, after several months, we're like, oh, I think we need a bigger fryer. Oh, I think we need to do these things a certain way. Because I'm from Mexico City, a lot of the flavors that we do are inspired by flavors I grew up with. I really wanted to start researching about old desserts, and I hadn't really realized until then that a lot of the Mexican cuisine, particularly the sweets, are part of an oral tradition. So they're really handed down from generation to generation. So there's very few things that have been documented. I really wanted to do something related to Mexican sweets. We have a horchata one that I love. We have a lot of tropical flavors like passion fruit and blood orange. The experience there is just, I often become nostalgic or something that I tried. I really want to interpret it in a new way, so I'm always trying to bring all of those flavors back. So the classic cinnamon sugar donut, like we use this Mexican cinnamon. This one is like a softer and it's delicate. So we use that, we fresh grind it, and we mix it with sugar. This is my favorite snack, actually. They're candied hibiscus flowers. and that we put on top of the hibiscus glazed. And so even like the little things take me back home. We make them, with a lot of love and care and pride. We really try to make the freshest donut we can. So we make them in small batches throughout the day, which is very costly for us to make, but we believe that makes a big difference. We really want transparency in everything that we do. So we have an open kitchen and kind of like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factor, because they can't see every step, but it's not machines that are making your donuts. There are people and they work hard and it's beautiful to see, and so that's a very important aspect. I mean, after all, like I always say, I get to make people happy for a living. We've built something really special. When we opened the second one at the Flatiron location, we had a line around Fifth Avenue, and I get chills, and I was like, I don't understand. So that to me was this, oh wow. And then we also have 2 kiosks. You can also find our donuts at different coffee shops, and we sell at all of the Whole Foods in New York. So it's about, I think, 70 or 80 locations. It's New York. I think there's room for everyone. Everybody has a different point of view. Norelia? Pogo. For me, I think one of the challenges is that there's a stereotype. I get asked a lot, well, what's it like to be a woman chef? Or like, no, the question should be, what's it like to be a chef? So I think the conversation needs to start with that. You have to be very true and honest to yourself, but also, you have to work hard, and there's no shortcuts. It's I guess, echoes the way that a dough is made, You have to nurture it, you have to be patient. I do something that's simple, but I feel it's very important to make people happy. There you go. Thank you very much.
New York designer Kim Phan has been making her own clothing since she was a child. But when it came to launching her own personal collection, which she called Yumi Kim, she turned to the country her family had fled as refugees for inspiration. Her Vietnamese roots helped inspire the company's iconic prints and patterns, which have made her designs sought after in stores throughout the U.S.
My name is Kim Phan. I am the founder and creative director of Yumi Kim. Yumi Kim is my baby. It's a brand that I created in 2004. It's a vintage-inspired, very print-driven, contemporary women's fashion brand based in New York. Prints are very emotional. I learned that when you pick prints that people love, it makes people feel happy. And there's something about prints that when you see in color that it just really affects your mood. Everyone loved the yellow Bora Bora collection. Right. So this one and Field of Dreams are like my 2 favorites. My background is Vietnamese. My family escaped from Vietnam when I was 2. My dad was a fisherman, and my village in Da Nang, Vietnam is right on the water, and we escaped in the middle of the night. And when we escaped, it ended up being like a big thunderstorm. I think we were able to reach Hong Kong after a month. And for a month, my whole entire family thought we died. I think when people leave Vietnam and when you're a refugee, you just want a better life. And if you're able to leave, get an education, and now come back and help the family and the community, then that's considered successful. It's kind of like getting the golden ticket. If you get to come to America, you've gotten the golden ticket. And it's also because you've gotten the golden ticket, I also feel it's my responsibility to give back to my family and also my community. I go back and forth to Vietnam pretty often, and every time I'm back, I'm always fascinated by when you walk the street and you see everybody wearing these like 2-piece pajamas, and they're always prints, and a lot of color, and I just always instill that into my collection. Let me feel the fabric. It needs to be soft so it can flow. Okay, I love this. I moved to New York right after I graduated. I worked in music, and I realized after 2 years, like, it wasn't my passion. I just didn't feel filled. And afterwards, I realized, I need to go back to why I moved to New York, which is to be in fashion. And I saved up enough money and opened a small little boutique in the West Village. I collected a lot of vintage, but I also supported a lot of local designers in New York. And I think after like 6, 7, 8 months, I realized I wanted to have a line at my store because I knew that there were products that were missing when I was in the market looking for it. Take away 50% of the print and show more black background, and I think our customer will like that. I love this one too. I think this is gonna be home run. I think this might be a home run. Since I was little, I've always made clothes. My mom and my family taught me how to sew. And I made my prom dresses, I made dresses for school functions, so I created a couple dresses and everything kind of fell into place naturally. Starting a business, it gets kind of lonely, and I got my first dog and I named her Yumi. And then when the day came where I was like, I have to start a line in the store, I didn't know what to call the brand. I was like, this kind of happened perfectly where I want to call the brand Yumi Kim. Okay, so this is what we have for the sample, and this is what we have coming in.
Right, so we lightened up all the colors so that way it fits more into the spring color palette.
I like the original better. I think it's much more rich. Then I really needed to learn technical design skills. I ended up enrolling in FIT at night, and I started making a list of all the classes I needed to learn to actually make a collection, from merchandising to just speccing and all these technical things. And then I flew to China and spent time in the factory. I learned to not just be able to sketch and design something, but also explain to somebody who's sitting behind, a sewing machine, like how you want it made. One day I was in my office and I received a phone call from a showroom rep. She's like, well, why don't we rep your line? I'm like, what is repping? I had 5 pieces. 5 dresses became 10, and 10 became 20. And now we have a store in Lower East Side, and I also sell to Bloomingdale's. I love being based in New York. Mainly it's just because we're such a big melting pot. You are with the best of the best here. And if you're able to run a business and survive, you really have made it. I think the best piece of advice I received was to really believe in yourself. You are your own cheerleader. Everything that you want to do, you can. You just need to learn how to do it. So instead of running right away, walk. We evolved over time. It wasn't overnight. Since I started the business, I learned everything will fall into place when it's your time. Just go where the wind blows. If it's meant for you to go this direction, go with it. There's a reason why it's blowing that way.
Shazi Visram noticed that she was not the only one who was worried about the ingredients in baby food. So she began making her own in her Brooklyn kitchen, giving birth to her company, Happy Family. Other moms across the city quickly took notice, and today, Happy Family is one of the most recognizable baby food companies in the nation.
My name is Shazi Visram, and I'm the founder and CEO of Happy Family. Happy Family is an awesome company. We make organic food for today's young family. I really like our use of these kind of text blurbs because I feel like that's the language of kids nowadays. It's all SMS. So, cool. My parents emigrated to America when I was 3. The first 6 or 7 years of my life in the States, I lived in a motel room. My family did everything they could so that I could get a good education. I went to good schools, and I worked really hard. I was in marketing and media, but just my heart wasn't in it. So I went to business school really to kind of develop entrepreneurial tools. The idea for Happy Baby, it came from a mom who was struggling because she didn't have time and the resources to make all of her food homemade from fresh organic ingredients like she had planned on doing before life happened and she had twins. At the time, there wasn't premium food for literally growing a baby's body into what they will become. even back then, before I was a mom, I kind of realized there's something special happening here. And what if we can meet this need in the market? And the idea was create the absolute best baby food in the world. One way we can really change how we appreciate and eat food is starting with our children. I use my own son as inspiration to say, like, what's good enough for him? Because I want that for everybody. So my son has autism. He really isn't able to handle most of the toxins in our common environment. He's really inspired us to raise the bar even further.
The story of Happy Family and how we started, I was telling it earlier in my tiny little kitchen in Brooklyn, and how we've grown today. I think we'll do like 150 million in sales this year.
So I used to make the recipes and the prototypes in my little galley kitchen in Brooklyn Heights. It was, I don't know, maybe this big. And my favorite was spinach mango pear, which at the time we used to call great greens. And to this day, it's one of our top sellers. When I had the idea to, change the world with organic baby food, I really didn't know anything about the food industry. What I needed to do was learn everything and meet everybody. I put together a plan of, okay, well, here's where we're going to make the food. Here's how we're going to deliver it to these stores. These are the stores we want to launch with. And, this is kind of the marketing campaign, is grassroots, moms talking about something that they really love for their kids, and they're going to share it with their other mom friends. We started as Happy Baby, then we launched Happy Tot, then we had Happy Squeeze for kids. This tastes like sweet potatoes.
It's smooth.
And mangoes and carrots, in that order. To build a company, you do everything. I've been in freezers packing off food. I've been wearing a hairnet making the food. I've been at Whole Foods demoing the product, talking to moms about it. One of our biggest challenges in the early days was just having access to finances. I raised $23 million, all from, people like you and me who saw something, heard about it, and I would get connected. That was the biggest challenge, getting the money when you needed it. You had to be ready and willing to see an opportunity and jump. Part of the journey is finding the right people who can be there with that specific skill set of knowledge that you need, that you're never going to become the expert. So find a team of your own experts.
It's hand-packed, and every single box is a very specific layout so that mom can see everything that's in there and roam through it at her leisure.
Okay, let me see what's in. We started in 5 stores in Manhattan, and now we're in more than 30,000 stores around the world. We were the first ever organic puff in the market and the first food to have probiotics for a baby in the world. And these are amazing products. It's kind of cool because, with your family, you don't really get to choose them. But at Happy Family, we actually do get to choose our family members. So we have a pretty optimal family of people that, have taken the baton and figured out how to be the best at what they do. Everyone around me, they see the vision, they see the dream. We have people here in this office today that started making $10 an hour, and we didn't have the cash to pay them, so it was equity instead of cash. And that person is now a multimillionaire. For those of us who are struggling with something, you just got to realize you're not in this alone. You should be passionate about what you're doing, because that's what's going to drive you on those late nights. You also need to make sure that your business model is sound. All of that is critical to success. Without that, you don't have a business. Happy Family is headquartered in the financial district of Manhattan. The New York City energy and ability to meet just some of the most incredible human beings in the world that are, somehow drawn to being here is really conducive to entrepreneurship. You did such a beautiful job with this. I'm so proud of it.
Right, and we've been adding more ingredients to it, so if you go all the way.
It's so pretty, Laura. Believe in yourself. I think we're all capable of great things, and sometimes what holds you back is your self-confidence. That's something that we all need to know. I didn't grow up wealthy, and if you looked at that little girl in a motel room in Alabama, I don't know if you would say she's gonna be a multi-millionaire and have everything she could possibly ever dream of having in this world, but I do. And so can you, and so can everyone else. It's way harder than you can possibly imagine. And that it's going to require even more from you than you think you have, but guess what? You have it. So believe in yourself.
Each of these 4 New York women found a way to blend her individual crafty interest with her own personal passion, which led each of them to her big idea. Tune in next week for more of her big idea.